Every website can be split up into two parts, the front end and the back end. The front end is what you see on the web page, but the back end is what maintains and handles your data. For example, if you're on Amazon.com, the back end will save your order history, profile, search results, and much more. Let's pretend we're on Amazon.com, doing some shopping, and we're ready to place an order. What happens when I click Place Order? Starting from the very beginning, any computer linked to the internet, including yours and mine, has the ability to send a message across the internet to another computer connected to the internet. So, to simplify things, Amazon has a computer someplace in their office building, and our computer will send a message to that Amazon computer containing our purchase. In this scenario, the computer that is sending the message is called client, and the computer that is receiving the message is called server. But before this happens, computers they can't receive messages from the internet by default. We have to program them to be able to receive messages. To do that we need a back-end programming language. Almost every programming language has a feature that turns a computer into a server and allows it to receive messages. Some popular back-end programming languages are JavaScript, Python, Ruby, and Java. However, using a back-end programming language by itself is actually really difficult, and requires a huge amount of code. So there are two tools that we use to help with this. A back-end framework simplifies and reduces the amount of code required to build a server. There are a number of different frameworks for each back-end programming language, but the most common ones are Express.js for JavaScript, Django for Python, Ruby on Rails, and Java Spring. In the back-end, we also work with a lot of code written by others, identified as packages, to do common activities such as calculations, database communication, and user login and authentication. We normally utilize a large number of packages on our backend, and we use a package manager to install and manage all of these items. The most common package managers for each language are npm for JavaScript, pip for Python, bundler for Ruby, and Maven for Java. These are the technologies required to build our backend server. The second issue is that we need somewhere to keep the data for our website. Returning to our Amazon example, data might refer to our user data, such as login information and order history, as well as data for all of the items offered on Amazon, such as descriptions, ratings, and reviews. We utilize a database to achieve this. A database is simply a piece of software that typically runs on a different machine, and we must configure it so that our backend can connect with the database. The most popular databases are MySQL, Postgres, and MongoDB. Alright, so if you're just starting out, this is basically all you need for the backend. You can build most of your projects with just a server and a database. For example, here's how our Amazon scenario could work. When the customer places an order in the front end sends a message containing the order to the backend. The backend then saves the order to a database, and sends back a message to the front end confirming that the order was created. The message sent by the front end to the back end is known as a request, and the message returned by the back end is known as a response. This is known as a request-response cycle, and that is how most online applications operate. Thanks for watching, and if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and share to everyone.